Charlotte Bennett, Lottie to everyone who knew her, had been secretly dating Leonardo Caruso for 6 months, and she still wasn't entirely sure how it had happened. She owned a small cafe and bakery in the North End, the kind of place with mismatched chairs and handwritten menu boards where regulars came for good coffee and better conversation. It was modest, cozy, completely unimpressive to anyone who valued flash over substance. Leo had walked in 6 months ago on a Tuesday morning, ordered an espresso, and changed her entire life. She'd known who he was, of course. Everyone in the North End knew the Caruso family. Old money, old power, the kind of influence that came from generations of carefully maintained connections and businesses that were only partially legitimate. Leonardo Caruso ran the family empire at 38, respected, feared, impossibly wealthy, and completely out of Lottie's league in every conceivable way. Except he'd come back. Every Tuesday morning, 7 a.m., espresso and whatever pastry she recommended. They'd talked. Small conversations at first, then longer ones. He'd asked about her cafe, her baking, her life. She'd been cautiously friendly, professional, completely convinced he was just being polite. Until the morning he'd asked her to dinner. Real dinner, he'd said. Not coffee, not business. Just you and me, seeing if this connection I feel is mutual. I'm not... Lottie had gestured at herself, her flour-covered apron, her messy bun. I'm not the kind of woman you date. I'm sure you're used to models and socialites, and I'm tired of models and socialites. I want someone real. Someone who makes me laugh. Someone who looks at me like I'm just a person instead of a name. His smile had been gentle. That's you, Lottie. You've been treating me like a regular customer for 2 months. Do you know how rare that is? She'd said yes. How could she not? That first date had been magical and terrifying, and unlike anything Lottie had ever experienced. Leo had been charming, attentive, genuinely interested in everything she said. He'd made her feel like the most important person in the world. And then he'd kissed her goodnight, and Lottie had realized she was in serious trouble. 6 months later, she was deeply, hopelessly in love with a man whose world was completely foreign to her. They'd kept the relationship quiet at Leo's suggestion. Not because he was ashamed, he'd made that very clear, but because his life came with complications. Enemies. Danger. People who might use her to get to him. I want to protect you, he'd said early on, sitting in her small apartment kitchen after their 3rd date. My world isn't safe, Lottie. Once people know you're mine, you become a target. Rivals who want to hurt me, enemies looking for leverage, even people within my own circles who might see you as an asset to exploit. I need time to put security measures in place. Background checks on everyone in your life, protection protocols, contingency plans. I need to make sure I can keep you safe before I make you visible. Is that okay? Lottie had understood, even if the reality of it had been terrifying. She'd known Leo was powerful. She'd suspected his business dealings weren't entirely legitimate. But hearing him talk about enemies and protection protocols had made it real in a way nothing else had. She'd been scared anyway. Scared of his world. Scared of not being enough. Scared of the scrutiny that would come from dating someone like Leonardo Caruso. The privacy had felt safe. Protective. A bubble where they could be just Leo and Lottie instead of Mafia boss and cafe owner. But 6 months was a long time to hide. 6 months of telling her friends she was too busy for girls' nights because she was secretly having dinner with her boyfriend. 6 months of deflecting her mother's questions about her love life. 6 months of watching Leo leave her apartment before dawn so neighbors wouldn't see him. 6 months of stolen moments and secret smiles, and pretending they barely knew each other when they happened to run into someone from his world. It had been romantic at first, secret and special, and just theirs. But lately, Lottie had started to feel the weight of it, the loneliness of not being able to share her happiness, the frustration of being hidden away like she was something shameful instead of someone Leo loved. They saw each other constantly, dinners at his place, Weekends away from the city, quiet moments stolen between his meetings and her cafe hours. He'd learned she stress-baked when anxious, that she loved old movies, that she talked to her plants and named them all after historical figures. She'd learned he was brilliant and dangerous and surprisingly gentle, that he read philosophy, that he played piano when he couldn't sleep. He'd also made it clear, repeatedly, that this wasn't casual. "You're it for me," he'd said one night, wrapped around her in his bed. "I want forever with you, Lottie. I want marriage and family and growing old together. I'm just waiting for the right moment to make it official." Official? Public. Ring. The whole thing. He'd kissed her temple. "Soon, I promise." Now, standing in her apartment on New Year's Eve afternoon, Lottie wondered if soon might be sooner than she'd thought. Leo's family had a massive New Year's Eve party every year. 200 guests, black tie, the kind of event that made social pages and required months of planning. Leo had been attending alone for years, deflecting questions about his love life, letting people speculate. This year, he'd insisted Lottie come as his guest. "Not as my date," he'd clarified. "I'm not ready to announce us yet, but I want you there. I need you there. Just attend as a guest. Stay low profile. I'll find moments to be with you, but we keep it quiet for now." Lottie had agreed, even though the thought of being in a room with his family, his associates, his entire world, made her want to throw up. She'd spent far too much money on a dress. Simple black, elegant but not flashy. The kind of thing that would let her blend in. She'd practiced her hair twice, settled on a sleek updo. Minimal jewelry, professional makeup. She looked appropriate, polished, like she could belong. Except she knew she couldn't. Not really. The moment people found out Leo was dating a cafe owner from a middle-class background with no connections and no pedigree, they'd tear her apart. Her phone buzzed. "Leo. How are you feeling?" "Terrified, nauseous, questioning all my life choices." "That bad?" "Worse. I tried on the dress 3 times. I can't eat. I'm spiraling." "Lottie, breathe. You're going to be fine." "Easy for you to say. You belong there. I'm going to stick out like the most beautiful woman in the room. Which you are, which you will be. Stop panicking. I can't help it. Your entire family will be there. Your business associates. Everyone who matters in your life. And I'm just the cafe owner you've been secretly seeing. You're not just anything. You're the woman I love. The woman I want to spend my life with. And yes, they don't know that yet, but they will. Soon. I promise." "How soon?" "Very soon. Trust me, amore. Tonight is important. More important than you know." After they hung up, Lottie stared at her reflection. She looked fine. She looked appropriate. She looked like she was about to face a firing squad. At 7 p.m., a car arrived, Leo's driver, sent to pick her up. The party was at Leo's penthouse, a massive space on the top floor of a building he owned, with a rooftop terrace that offered 360-degree views of Boston. Lottie had been there dozens of times, but never when it was full of people. Never when she had to pretend she was just another guest instead of the woman who knew Leo kept a spare toothbrush for her in his bathroom. The elevator ride up felt like ascending to her own execution. The penthouse was already packed when she arrived. 200 people in formal wear, champagne flowing, music playing. The terrace decorated with lights and gold balloons and heating lamps that kept the December cold at bay. Lottie accepted a glass of champagne from a passing waiter and tried to look like she belonged. "Lottie!" She turned to find Maria, one of her regular customers, waving from across the room. Thank God. A friendly face. "I didn't know you'd be here," Maria said, pulling her into a hug. "How do you know the Carusos?" "I own a cafe in the North End. Leo comes in sometimes. He invited me." All technically true, just missing some key details. "Lucky you. This party is legendary. I've been trying to get an invitation for years. My husband's company does business with Caruso Enterprises, so we finally made the list. Maria gestured around. Have you met the family yet? Not yet. Come on, I'll introduce you. Francesca Caruso is lovely, bit traditional, but warm. Antonio can be intimidating, but he's all bark. Before Lottie could protest, Maria was dragging her through the crowd toward an elegant woman in her 60s, holding court near the fireplace. Francesca, Maria called. I want you to meet someone. Francesca Caruso turned, and Lottie's breath caught. She'd seen photos, but in person, Leo's mother was striking. Dark hair going silver, sharp eyes, the kind of bone structure that aged beautifully. This is Charlotte Bennett, Maria said. She owns that wonderful cafe on Hanover Street. Makes the best cannoli in the North End. Bennett, Francesca repeated, studying Lottie with disconcerting intensity. Not Italian. Irish and English, actually. But I learned to make cannoli from my landlord's grandmother, so I like to think they're authentic. Francesca's expression warmed slightly. A cafe owner. That's good. Honest work. And you're here alone? Yes, ma'am. Leo invited me. We're acquainted. Acquainted. Francesca's smile turned knowing. How nice. Before Lottie could respond, a man appeared at Francesca's elbow, tall, stern-faced, with gray hair and Leo's dark eyes. Antonio Caruso, Leo's father. Who's this? He asked without preamble. Charlotte Bennett, Francesca said smoothly. She owns a cafe in the neighborhood. Leo invited her. Antonio's eyes swept over Lottie with cold assessment. A cafe, how quaint. And you know my son how? He's a customer. We've talked a few times. Talked. Antonio's tone suggested he didn't believe that for a second, but he nodded and moved on without further comment. After they left, Maria leaned close. Don't mind Antonio. He's protective of Leo. Probably worried you're after his money. I'm not. I know that. You know that. He'll figure it out. Maria squeezed her arm. Come on, let's get more champagne and find the good appetizers. For the next hour, Lottie mingled, made small talk, tried to look like she was having a good time. She saw Leo across the room multiple times, greeting guests, talking to his brothers, laughing with associates. He looked devastating in a perfectly tailored black suit, commanding every room he entered. And he kept looking at her. Quick glances, heated stares, small smiles that were just for her. Each one made her heart race. Around 9, Leo found a moment to corner her near the bar. You look incredible, he murmured, his hand brushing hers briefly. Your father thinks I'm a gold digger. My father thinks everyone is a gold digger until proven otherwise. Don't take it personally. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. How are you holding up? Barely. This is overwhelming. I know. But you're doing great. I'm proud of you. His hand found the small of her back, hidden from view. Few more hours. Then I'm taking you home and we're not leaving my bed for a week. Leo. I know, sorry. Professional distance. But his eyes were hot. Though that's about to change. What? Nothing. Ignore me. I'll find you later. He disappeared into the crowd, leaving Lottie flushed and confused. At 10 p.m., a woman approached Lottie at the bar, stunning, mid-30s, wearing a dress that cost more than Lottie's rent. You're new, the woman said, her tone assessing. I haven't seen you at these parties before. First time. I'm Lottie. Adriana Giordano, old family friend. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. How do you know Leo? He comes into my cafe sometimes. Ah, how sweet. He's been so busy lately. Barely has time for old friends. I've been trying to get his attention all night. Adriana sipped her champagne. We used to date, you know, years ago. Everyone thought we'd end up married, but he wanted to focus on business. I've been waiting for him to come to his senses. That's nice for you. It is. I know him better than anyone. Know what he needs, what he wants. Whatever little distraction he's been amusing himself with lately, it won't last. Leo always comes back to what's familiar. Lottie's spine straightened. I'm sure you're right. I know I am. Adriana's smile sharpened. Enjoy the party. After she left, Lottie felt sick. Was that what she was? A distraction? Something Leo was amusing himself with before going back to appropriate women like Adriana? Don't listen to her. Lottie turned to find Leo's younger brother Dante beside her. She'd met him briefly once. Charming, funny, less intense than Leo. Sorry. Adriana, don't listen to her. She's been trying to get Leo back for 3 years. He's not interested. Never has been. Never will be. How do you know? Because I know my brother. And I know he's been different the past 6 months. Happier. Lighter. He's seeing someone serious, even if he won't admit who. Dante studied her. You look terrified, by the way. First time at one of these things? That obvious? You're white-knuckling your champagne glass and look like you want to bolt. So yes, obvious. He smiled kindly. Relax, it's just a party. Loud, overwhelming, full of people with too much money and not enough personality. But harmless. Your father doesn't think I'm harmless. He thinks I'm after Leo's money. Dad thinks everyone is after something. He'll warm up eventually. Or not. Doesn't really matter. Leo makes his own decisions. Dante's expression turned curious. You own a cafe? Yes, in the North End. And Leo invited you here. Interesting. But he didn't push. Well, welcome. Try to have fun, and ignore Adriana. She's delusional. The night wore on. Lottie talked to more people, drank more champagne, tried to look comfortable. She saw Leo talking to his parents, his brothers, various associates. Saw Adriana trying to get his attention repeatedly. Saw him deflect, redirect, keep his distance. And she saw him watching her, constantly, with an intensity that made her skin warm. At 11:30, the energy shifted. People started gathering on the terrace as midnight approached. Champagne was distributed. The countdown would happen outside, with views of fireworks over the harbor. Lottie found a spot near the railing, away from the main crowd. She'd stay for midnight, then make her excuses and leave. Let Leo finish his party without worrying about her. Lottie. She turned to find Leo beside her, his expression serious. Hi. Hi. He looked at the crowd, then back at her. I need to tell you something. Okay? I love you. Completely. Irrevocably. Forever. I love you too. You know that. I know. But I need you to trust me, for what comes next. Can you do that? Leo, what are you talking about? Just trust me, please. Before she could respond, someone called for everyone's attention. The countdown was starting. People gathered, raising glasses, watching the clock. 10, 9, 8. Leo's hand found hers, hidden by their bodies. 7, 6, 5. He pulled her closer, into view of everyone. 4, 3. Leo, what are you? 2, 1. Happy New Year. And Leonardo Caruso, in front of 200 guests, pulled Charlotte Bennett into his arms and kissed her like she was the only person in the world. The terrace went silent, then erupted. For a moment, one perfect, suspended moment, time seemed to stop completely. Lottie was aware of several things at once in crystalline detail. Leo's mouth on hers, firm and sure, and claiming her in front of everyone who mattered in his world. His hand cupping her face with such tenderness, thumb stroking her cheekbone, the other arm wrapped around her waist, pulling her against the solid warmth of his body. The fireworks exploding over Boston Harbor behind them, gold and white and silver bursting against the night sky in celebration of the new year. The champagne glass she'd been holding moments ago, now forgotten, hitting the terrace floor with a distant crash that seemed to come from miles away. the cold December air that should have been freezing but felt warm against her flushed skin. And 200 people, business associates, family members, Boston's elite, everyone who mattered in Leonardo Caruso's complicated world, staring at them in complete, absolute silence. The countdown had ended. The new year had begun, and nobody was celebrating because they were all too shocked to move. Then the terrace erupted into chaos, like a bomb had detonated. Gasps, exclamations in Italian and English. Someone dropped a glass. Someone else started clapping, uncertain. The silence broke into 100 simultaneous conversations, all speculating, questioning, demanding answers. Leo ended the kiss slowly, his forehead resting against hers, his breath warm on her face. "Happy New Year, amore," he murmured. Just for her. "Leo," Lottie whispered, her voice shaking. "Everyone's staring." "I know. That was the point." "What? Why? You said we were keeping it quiet." "I lied." "Well, postponed the truth. I needed security in place, plans made, but I'm done hiding you." His hand tightened on her waist. "I'm done pretending you're not the most important person in my life. I'm done letting people like Adriana think they have a chance. I'm done with all of it. Leo, your family, is about to meet the woman I love, properly, publicly. No more secrets." He pulled back enough to look at her, his dark eyes intense. "I'm sorry I surprised you, but I needed to do this, needed everyone to know. Are you okay?" Lottie's head was spinning. 6 months of secrecy ended in one kiss. Her cover blown, her privacy shattered. Everyone now knowing she was with Leo. "I think I'm going to pass out," she said honestly. "Breathe. I've got you. I won't let anything happen to you." "Leonardo!" They turned to find Francesca pushing through the crowd, her expression unreadable. Behind her, Antonio looked thunderous. Dante was grinning. And Adriana looked like she'd been slapped. "Mama," Leo said calmly. "Happy New Year." "Don't you mama me." "What was that? Who is this girl? Why are you kissing her in front of everyone?" But Francesca was looking at Lottie with curiosity, not anger. "Is this the someone you've been seeing?" "Yes, this is Charlotte Bennett. Lottie. The woman I've been dating for 6 months, the woman I love, the woman I'm going to marry." Lottie's brain short-circuited on that last part, but before she could process it, Francesca was pulling her into a hug. 6 months! You kept her secret for 6 months! Francesca held Lottie at arm's length, studying her. "You're the cafe owner, from Hanover Street." "Yes, ma'am." "I knew it. I knew there was someone. Leo's been different, happier. I knew." Francesca beamed. "Welcome to the family, Cara. It's about time my son found someone real instead of those plastic socialites he used to date." "Mama," Leo started. "Don't interrupt. I'm welcoming your girlfriend, who you kept secret. We'll discuss that later." But Francesca was still smiling. "You make good cannoli, yes?" "I try." "Good. Family dinner next Sunday. You'll come. You'll make cannoli. We'll talk properly." Francesca kissed both of Lottie's cheeks. "I'm glad he finally showed good sense." Antonio appeared beside his wife, his expression stern. "You could have warned us." "I could have," Leo agreed. "But I didn't want the lecture about appropriate partners and family connections beforehand." "She's a cafe owner," Antonio said flatly. "She's a businesswoman. She owns her own establishment, employs people, serves the community. That's more honest work than half the people in this room do." Leo's arm slid around Lottie's waist, possessive and protective. "And she's mine. That's all that matters." Antonio looked at Lottie, his expression calculating. "You know what my son is, what this family is." "I know enough," Lottie said, finding her voice. "I know Leo is powerful and dangerous and does things I probably shouldn't ask about. I know your family has influence that goes back generations. I know dating him means accepting a world I don't fully understand. But I also know he's kind and brilliant and makes me laugh. And I love him anyway. Something shifted in Antonio's expression. Not approval, exactly. But maybe consideration. We'll see, he said finally. Family dinner Sunday. We'll talk then. He walked away, leaving Lottie trembling. That went better than expected, Dante said cheerfully, appearing with fresh champagne. Dad didn't threaten you or demand a background check. That's basically approval in his language. He hates me. He doesn't hate you. He's cautious, protective, old-school Italian father, whose son just revealed a serious girlfriend with zero warning. Dante handed her a glass. Give him time. He'll come around, especially when he sees how happy Leo is. Around them, the party was recovering from its shock. People were still talking, still staring, but the countdown had disrupted the rhythm enough that conversation was resuming. Music started again. Waiters circulated with champagne and appetizers. But everyone was still watching them. Adriana pushed through the crowd, her expression icy. Leo, a word. No. Excuse me? I said no, Adriana. We have nothing to discuss. You kissed some random girl in front of everyone after I've been waiting. That random girl is my girlfriend. The woman I love. The woman I'm going to marry. And you've been waiting for something that was never going to happen. Leo's tone was cold. We dated 3 years ago for 6 weeks. It didn't work. It's not going to work. Move on. You can't be serious. Her? She's nobody. She owns a cafe, for God's sake. And your old money with no substance. I'll take real over pedigree any day. He pulled Lottie closer. This conversation is over. Don't approach us again. Adriana looked like she wanted to argue, but something in Leo's expression made her reconsider. She left with a final withering look at Lottie. I'm sorry, Leo murmured. She's been persistent for years. This will finally make her stop. Your father doesn't approve of me. My father doesn't approve of anyone. He'll adjust. Leo kissed her forehead. Are you okay? I know this is overwhelming. I'm terrified. Everyone's staring. Your family is judging me. That woman hates me. I'm completely out of my depth. But you're here. With me. Publicly. No more hiding. Isn't that better? Lottie thought about 6 months of secrecy. Of wanting to tell her friends, her family, wanting to be open about the man she loved. Of pretending they were just acquaintances when they were so much more. Yes, she admitted. It's terrifying. But better. Good. Leo checked his watch. 12:03. Now I need to do the second part. Second part? The part I've been planning for weeks. He pulled a small box from his jacket pocket, and Lottie's heart stopped. The part where I ask you to marry me. Leo, I know it's fast. I know we just went public 3 minutes ago. But I've been carrying this ring for 2 weeks, waiting for the right moment. And this is it. Right here. Right now. In front of everyone who matters. He dropped to one knee, and the terrace went silent again. Charlotte Bennett, I love you. I've loved you since the 3rd time you made me coffee and told me my espresso snobbery was pretentious. I want to spend my life with you. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to argue about whether pineapple belongs on pizza and listen to you name your plants and watch you stress bake at 2 a.m. I want all of it. Forever. Will you marry me? Lottie stared at him. At the ring, a stunning emerald surrounded by diamonds, vintage and perfect, and exactly her style, even though she'd never told him her preferences. At his face, open and vulnerable in a way she'd never seen in public. At the 200 people watching, waiting for her answer. Her entire life was about to change. Again. Bigger this time. No going back. Yes, she whispered. Louder, amore. They need to hear you. Yes! Lottie laughed through sudden tears. Yes, of course, yes! Leo slid the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into a kiss that made the first one seem tame. The terrace erupted. Real applause this time. Cheers. Congratulations. When they pulled apart, Francesca was crying. Dante was grinning like an idiot. And Antonio still looked stern, but there was something softer around his eyes. "My son getting married," Francesca said, hugging them both. "Finally. I thought I'd never see the day. And to such a nice girl, a real girl, not like those terrible women he used to date. Mama, you liked some of them. I tolerated them. There's a difference. But this one," she squeezed Lottie's hands. "This one I like. This one has substance. This one looks at you like you're a person, not a bank account." "Thank you," Lottie managed. People descended then, Leo's brothers offering congratulations, associates shaking his hand, society women who'd ignored Lottie all night suddenly wanting to talk. It was overwhelming and exhausting and surreal. Through it all, Leo kept his hand on her, anchoring her, introducing her properly now. "My fiancée, Lottie, the woman I'm marrying." Antonio approached around 12:30 when the initial chaos had settled. "A word, both of you." Leo led Lottie to a quiet corner of the terrace, his father following. "You're sure about this?" Antonio asked bluntly. 6 months is not long." "I'm certain," Leo said. "I've never been more certain of anything." "And you?" Antonio looked at Lottie. "You understand what you're marrying into? This life isn't simple. My son isn't a simple man. There are dangers, complications, expectations." "I understand enough," Lottie said quietly. "I know it won't be easy. I know I'm going to have to learn a lot. But I love your son, and he loves me. That's worth navigating the complicated parts." Antonio studied her for a long moment. "You're not what I would have chosen for him." "I know. I wanted him to marry someone from our world, someone who understood the business, the family, the obligations, someone with the right connections." Lottie's heart sank. "I understand. But," Antonio held up a hand, "I've watched my son for 38 years. I've seen him date appropriate women who bored him. I've seen him build an empire at the cost of his personal happiness. I've seen him alone at family dinners, deflecting questions about settling down, pretending he was fine." He paused. "Tonight, for the first time in years, I saw him genuinely happy, willing to make a fool of himself in front of 200 people just to claim you publicly. Willing to risk my disapproval to marry you. That tells me something." "What does it tell you?" Lottie asked. "That maybe, you're exactly what he needs, even if you're not what I would have chosen." Antonio's expression softened slightly. "My wife is right. You're real. You look at him like he's just a man, not a boss or a name. That's rare in our world. Valuable." "Does that mean you approve?" Leo asked. "It means I'm willing to give her a chance. Let her prove herself. See if she can handle this life." Antonio looked at Lottie directly. "Can you? Handle this life? The scrutiny, the danger, the family obligations?" "I don't know," Lottie admitted. "But I'm willing to try. For Leo. For us. I'm willing to learn." "Good. Honesty is important. Better than someone who promises they can handle everything without understanding what they're promising." Antonio nodded once. "Sunday dinner. The whole family. You'll come. We'll talk properly. Get to know each other. See if this can work." "Thank you," Lottie said. "Don't thank me yet. My family can be intense, especially when there's a new member joining. They'll have questions, opinions. You'll need thick skin. I'll manage. We'll see." But Antonio's tone was less harsh. "Welcome to the family, conditionally." After he left, Lottie turned to Leo. "That was terrifying. You did great. Better than great. My father never gives conditional approval. Usually it's outright disapproval until you prove yourself worthy over years. You got approval on night 1. Conditional approval. Still counts. Leo kissed her. I'm proud of you. You handled all of this. The reveal, the proposal, my family, with more grace than I had any right to expect. I'm still processing. We went from secret to engaged in 3 minutes. Too fast? Completely insane. But she was smiling. But also perfect. I'm done hiding. I'm done being a secret. I want to be your fiancé. Publicly. Even if it's terrifying. It'll get easier. I promise. And I'll be with you every step. Protecting you. Supporting you. Making sure you're okay. His hand found hers, thumb brushing over the ring. You're mine now. Officially. Everyone knows it. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret saying yes. I won't regret it. Good, because I'm never letting you go. The party continued until 3 a.m. Lottie met more family members than she could keep track of, received more congratulations than felt real, and fielded approximately 100 questions about wedding plans they hadn't even discussed yet. Through it all, Leo stayed beside her, introducing her, protecting her, making sure she wasn't overwhelmed. His mother hugged her 3 more times. His father watched from a distance, assessing but not hostile. Dante declared he was going to be the best man in history. And Adriana left early, her departure noted by everyone. At 3:30, in the relative quiet of Leo's penthouse with most guests gone, Lottie collapsed on his couch and laughed. We're engaged. We're engaged, Leo confirmed, sitting beside her. We went from secret to engaged in 3 minutes. I like to be efficient. Your father conditionally approves of me, which is basically a ringing endorsement in his language. Your ex-girlfriend hates me. My ex-girlfriend is irrelevant. You're my future wife. That's all that matters. Lottie looked at the ring on her finger, still not quite believing it was real. I can't believe you did this. Kissed me in front of everyone, then proposed. That's insane. That's love. Makes you do insane things. He pulled her close. Regrets? None. Terrified about Sunday dinner with your entire family, but no regrets about saying yes. Good, because I'm holding you to it. He kissed her softly. You're stuck with me now, Lottie Bennett, soon to be Caruso. Forever. I can live with that. Good. Now come to bed. We have approximately 6 hours before my mother starts calling with wedding plans. 6 hours? She's traditional but enthusiastic. She'll wait until a reasonable hour. Barely. They went to bed as the sun started rising over Boston, engaged and public, and beginning the next chapter of their completely insane love story. And Lottie wouldn't have changed a single thing. Sunday dinner at the Caruso family estate was exactly as terrifying as Lottie had anticipated. She'd spent the week in a daze, fielding calls from friends who'd seen social media posts from the party, dealing with customers at her cafe who'd heard gossip, trying to process that she was now publicly engaged to Leonardo Caruso. The ring on her finger felt foreign and heavy. Beautiful, but constant reminder that her life had fundamentally changed. You'll be fine, Leo said for the 10th time as they drove to his parents' house Sunday afternoon. My family is loud and opinionated and overwhelming, but they're good people, and my mother already loves you. Your father conditionally approves of me. That's different from loving me. He'll come around. He always does. He just needs time to adjust to the idea that I'm marrying someone he didn't pre-approve. That's not comforting. It's honest. Leo squeezed her hand. I'm not going to lie and say this will be easy. My family has expectations. They'll ask questions. They'll want to know everything about you. They'll judge whether you're suitable for this life. But he pulled into the driveway of a massive estate in Newton. They'll also see how much I love you, and that matters more than pedigree. The house was even more intimidating than Lottie had imagined. Old money architecture, perfectly maintained grounds, the kind of place that screamed generational wealth. She'd brought cannoli, homemade, using the recipe Leo's mother had mentioned was her favorite. It felt inadequate bringing pastries to people who probably had personal chefs, but Francesca had specifically requested it. "Ready?" Leo asked. "No, but let's go anyway." The front door opened before they reached it. Francesca stood there already smiling, wearing an apron that suggested she'd been cooking all day. "Leonardo, and Lottie. Come in, everyone's waiting." Everyone turned out to be approximately 20 people. Leo's immediate family: parents, 2 brothers, Dante and Marco, their wives, various children, plus aunts, uncles, cousins, and a grandmother who looked about 90 and terrifyingly sharp-eyed. "This is Sunday dinner?" Lottie whispered to Leo. "Small Sunday dinner. Usually there's more. Nonna's birthday had 40 people. That's not comforting either." But Francesca was already pulling her into the chaos, introducing her to everyone rapid fire. Names Lottie would never remember, faces that blurred together, all curious and assessing. "This is Zia Rosa, my sister. This is Zio Giovanni, Antonio's brother. This is Nonna Giulia, Antonio's mother. This is—" "Mama, breathe," Leo interrupted. "She doesn't need to memorize everyone today. She needs to know family. She's marrying into family." Nonna Giulia approached, walking stick in hand, eyes sharp despite her age. She studied Lottie with the intensity of someone who'd seen 9 decades of life and wasn't easily impressed. "So, you're the girl my grandson is marrying?" "Yes, ma'am." "Not Italian?" "No, ma'am, Irish and English." "Can you cook?" "I own a cafe. I bake. I cook well enough." "Well enough isn't good enough for a Caruso wife. You'll learn properly. Francesca will teach you." "I'd like that." "You understand what you're marrying into? This family, this life?" "I'm learning. I know it's complicated. I know there are aspects I don't fully understand. But I love Leo. That's what matters." Nonna studied her for another long moment. Then, shockingly, she smiled. "Good answer. Better than pretending you know everything. My grandson needs someone honest. Someone real. Too many fake women chasing our men. You seem real." "I try to be." "Good. Come, sit next to me at dinner. We talk." Dinner was chaos. The kind of beautiful, overwhelming chaos that Lottie had only seen in movies. 20 people around a massive dining table that looked like it could seat twice that number. Food appearing in endless courses: antipasti, pasta, meat, vegetables, salad, fruit, cheese, desserts, all homemade, all served family-style with people reaching across each other and talking with their mouths full, and arguing cheerfully about everything from politics to the proper way to make marinara sauce. Children ran around between courses, chased by long-suffering parents. Wine flowed freely from bottles that didn't have labels, because they came from someone's cousin's vineyard in Tuscany. Conversation flowed in Italian and English, sometimes mid-sentence, as people code-switched without thinking about it. It was loud and warm and chaotic, and completely overwhelming in the best possible way. Lottie sat between Leo and Nonna Giulia, trying to follow multiple conversations while fielding questions about her cafe, her family, her background, her intentions toward their beloved Leonardo. "Your parents?" Zia Rosa asked. "They approve of this marriage?" "My mother does. She's excited. I don't have a father. He left when I was young." "Ah, so you understand family is important. Chosen family." "Yes." "Good. We choose you now. Your family." It was stated so simply, so matter-of-factly, that Lottie felt tears prick her eyes. Antonio sat at the head of the table, watching everything with his usual stern expression. He'd greeted Lottie politely but distantly when they arrived, hadn't engaged much during pre-dinner conversation. But halfway through the main course, he addressed her directly. "Charlotte, your cafe. Tell me about it." Everyone quieted. This was apparently significant. "I've owned it for 3 years. Small place, seats about 30. We do breakfast and lunch, specialty coffee, fresh baked goods daily. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. I employ 6 people, all local. We're part of the community. Profitable? Modestly. I'm not getting rich, but I'm in the black. I pay my employees fairly, maintain good relationships with suppliers, keep quality high. It's sustainable. And you'll continue this after marriage? Or sell? Lottie glanced at Leo, who nodded encouragingly. I'd like to continue. Maybe expand eventually. It's my passion, my work. I don't want to give it up just because I'm marrying into wealth. Good, Antonio said, surprising her. Too many people marry into this family and become useless, living off the name without contributing. You have your own business, your own purpose. That matters. You approve? Lottie asked carefully. I approve of work ethic, of independence, of not needing my son's money to define yourself. He paused. Whether I approve of the marriage remains to be seen. But this is a good start. It was the closest thing to praise Lottie had gotten from him. She'd take it. After dinner, while the women cleaned up, despite Lottie's protests that she could help, the men disappeared into Antonio's study. Apparently, this was tradition. They talk business, Francesca explained. Boring stuff. We have more fun in the kitchen anyway. In the kitchen, surrounded by Leo's mother, aunts, grandmother, and sisters-in-law, Lottie finally felt the full force of Caruso family scrutiny. So, Zia Rosa said, drying dishes. 6 months you've been dating? Yes. And keeping it secret. Why? Leo wanted to make sure security was in place. He was worried about putting me in danger by making me a target. Protecting you. Good. He should protect what's his. Rosa nodded approvingly. And you? You're okay with this life? The danger, the attention, the expectations? I'm learning to be. I know it won't be easy. But I love him enough to try. Love is good, but love alone isn't enough. You need strength, resilience, ability to handle this family. She gestured at the room full of opinionated women. Because we are a lot. Loud, involved, always in your business. Can you handle that? Lottie thought about her quiet life before Leo. Her small apartment, her cafe, her simple routine. How different this was. How overwhelming. Honestly, I don't know yet, but I'm willing to try, and I'm tougher than I look. Good. You'll need to be. But Rosa was smiling. Welcome to the family, Cara. We adopt you now. You're stuck with us. Nonna Julia tapped her walking stick for attention. Important question. Wedding. When? We haven't discussed specifics yet. Soon. You marry soon. Leo is almost 40. No more waiting. Spring wedding. May, maybe. Small, family only. None of this big society nonsense. Just family. Small means 200 people in this family. Francesca added, just warning you. I'll talk to Leo about timing. You tell Leo. Don't ask. Men don't know what they want for weddings. You tell him. Nonna waved her hand dismissively. And you wear my wedding dress. I save it 70 years. You alter it, make it yours, but you wear family dress. Tradition. I couldn't. That's too special. Is decided. You wear my dress. Francesca, you show her next week. Nonna, really, I don't want to impose. Not imposing, is gift, is welcoming you to family. You accept gift. It wasn't a question. Thank you, Lottie managed. I'm honored. In the study, Leo was getting similar treatment from his father and uncles. 6 months and then engagement, Antonio said, pouring grappa. That's fast. I'm 38. I know what I want. No point waiting. She's not what I would have chosen. I know, but she's what I choose. That has to be enough. Antonio studied his son. You're certain? Absolutely certain? Because once you marry her, she becomes family. Part of everything. There's no going back. I'm certain. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Even knowing she's not from our world, knowing she doesn't understand the business, the obligations, the complications, especially knowing that. I'm tired of women who want me for power or money or status. Lottie wants me because I'm me. She sees past everything else. That's worth more than pedigree. Antonio was quiet for a long moment. Then, your mother likes her. I know. Your grandmother likes her. I noticed. Even your aunts like her, and they don't like anyone. Is there a point to this? Leo asked. The point is that maybe, you chose better than I gave you credit for. She's not what I expected. Not what I would have selected. But watching her tonight, with the family, handling questions with grace, being honest instead of performing. Antonio paused. Maybe she's exactly what you need. Does that mean you approve? It means I'm willing to accept this marriage, support it, give her a real chance to prove herself. Antonio raised his glass. To your marriage. May it be as strong as your mother and mine. May she give you many children and much happiness. And may she handle you better than anyone else has managed. They toasted, and Leo felt something tight in his chest loosen. His father's approval. Real approval, not conditional. It mattered more than he'd wanted to admit. When they rejoined the women, Francesca was already planning the wedding with alarming efficiency. Guest lists, potential venues, menu options. She had notebooks. May wedding, she announced. Small, family only, 200 people. We use the estate gardens. Beautiful in May. And Lottie wears Nana's dress, altered to fit. We haven't actually discussed any of this, Leo said. We're discussing now. Sit down. We plan. For the next 2 hours, Leo and Lottie sat in his parents' living room while his entire family planned their wedding around them. It should have been overwhelming. It was overwhelming. But it was also wonderful. This was family. Loud, opinionated, overwhelming family who'd adopted Lottie completely in the space of one dinner and were now treating her like she'd always belonged. When they finally left around 9 p.m., Lottie collapsed in Leo's car and laughed. Your family is insane. I know, but you handled it perfectly. Your grandmother is giving me her wedding dress. Your mother has already planned half our wedding. Your aunts asked when we're having babies. Your father toasted our marriage. This is surreal. This is family. Welcome to it. I don't have a say in the wedding planning, do I? Absolutely not. My mother has been waiting 38 years for me to get married. She's taking over. Just accept it. May wedding, 200 guests, family dress. This is happening. Are you okay with that? Lottie thought about it. Thought about her quiet life before Leo, about small expectations and simple pleasures. Thought about this loud, overwhelming, wonderful family who'd claimed her as their own. Yeah, she said. I'm okay with it. More than okay. Your family is amazing, intense and overwhelming, but amazing. They love you, I could tell. And my father approved. Really approved. That's huge. He toasted us? He toasted us. Called you exactly what I need. That's as close to, I was wrong, you were right, as Antonio Caruso gets. I can't believe this is my life now. Better get used to it. Because you're stuck with us. All of us. Forever. I can live with that. Epilogue. 5 months later. Lottie married Leonardo Caruso on a perfect May afternoon in his parents' garden, wearing a 70-year-old dress that Francesca had helped her alter to fit perfectly, in front of exactly 200 family members who'd become her family too in the 5 months since New Year's Eve. The dress was stunning, vintage lace and silk, preserved immaculately for 7 decades, now updated with Lottie's own touches. A shorter train, modern understructure, delicate alterations that honored the original while making it hers. Wearing Nonna Giulia's wedding dress felt like wearing history, like being wrapped in 70 years of love and marriage and family legacy. The ceremony itself was traditional Italian Catholic, long, formal, conducted partially in Latin by a priest who'd known the Caruso family for 40 years. Lottie had spent weeks in preparation classes, learning the rituals, understanding the sacrament, wanting to honor Leo's traditions even though she'd been raised Protestant and wasn't particularly religious herself. The reception was everything the ceremony wasn't. Loud, joyful, chaotic in the best way. Music that ranged from traditional Italian songs to contemporary hits. Dancing that started formal and descended into cheerful chaos by hour 3. Food that kept coming in endless waves, from antipasti through the 7-course meal to the elaborate dessert table that rivaled anything Lottie had ever created in her cafe. Nonna Giulia cried. Francesca cried. Even Antonio got misty-eyed walking Lottie down the aisle since her own father wasn't there to do it. "You're good for my son," he said as they walked. "I was wrong to doubt you. You make him happy. That's all that matters. Thank you for giving me a chance, for accepting me. You earned it, by being yourself, by being honest, by loving him without agenda." He paused at the altar. "Welcome to the family, daughter." The word daughter made Lottie tear up. After the ceremony, during the reception, Leo pulled her onto the dance floor for their first dance as husband and wife. "Happy?" he asked, deliriously, overwhelmingly, completely. "Good, because you're stuck with me forever now, legally binding. I signed the papers, I'm aware. And you're stuck with my family, also binding. They're my family now too. I'm okay with that. Good, because they've already started planning Sunday dinners at our place. My mother has opinions about our kitchen. Nonna wants to teach you her sauce recipe. My aunts want to host your baby shower. We're not pregnant. They're planning ahead. That's what they do." Lottie laughed, resting her head on his chest as they swayed to music. "This is insane. 6 months ago, I was just a cafe owner who made you coffee. Now I'm married to you, part of your family, planning a future I never imagined. Regrets? None. This is the best insane decision I've ever made. Good, because I'm not letting you go. Ever. Promise? Promise." They danced until the song ended, then danced through 3 more, surrounded by family and friends and the life they were building together. And later, when the party finally ended and they drove away to start their honeymoon, 2 weeks in Italy, visiting the town where Nonna Giulia had grown up, Lottie looked at the ring on her finger and thought about New Year's Eve. About Leo kissing her in front of 200 people, claiming her publicly after 6 months of secrecy. About him dropping to one knee minutes later, asking her to marry him before they'd even processed being public. About his family's reaction, shock, acceptance, love. About how one kiss had changed everything. "What are you thinking about?" Leo asked, driving with one hand, holding hers with the other. "New Year's Eve. How you kissed me in front of everyone. How insane that was. Best decision I ever made. Proposing minutes later was also insane. Also, the best decision I ever made. Your family could have rejected me. But they didn't. They loved you. Because you're lovable. Because you're real. Because you're perfect for me." He brought her hand to his lips. "And now, you're my wife. Mrs. Caruso. Forever. I'm still keeping Bennett professionally. The cafe is staying Bennett's. I know. I'm okay with that. You're my wife where it matters. At home, with family, in my heart. What name you use professionally doesn't change that. Good. Because I'm not giving up my cafe. I wouldn't ask you to. I love that you have your own thing, your own passion. It makes you who you are." They drove in comfortable silence for a while, Boston disappearing behind them as they headed to the airport. "Leo?" Lottie said eventually. "Yeah? Thank you. For choosing me. For going public. For proposing. For all of it. For seeing me. Thank you for saying yes. Both times. You made me the happiest man in the world, Lottie Caruso. Bennett Caruso." "Bennett Caruso," he agreed, smiling. "Forever." And it was. Forever started with a New Year's kiss that revealed a 6-month secret. Forever continued with a proposal minutes later that shocked everyone. Forever was built on family dinners and loud relatives and traditions and love, and Lottie wouldn't change a single thing.